Welcome to sportsbookreview.com. I'm Flash and we've got March Madness just round the corner. So I'm going to be speaking to Maxwell Smart, who's our guru for the college basketball scene. And if you think it's just all about the NCAAB tournament, you would be wrong, because there's 3 other tournaments, there's 4 tournaments in total. So I'm going to, Max, 4 tournaments. How do you become eligible for these tournaments?
Well, the one that you have to worry and you have to play for throughout the season to become eligible for is the NCAA March Madness tournament. Unfortunately, there are a lot of teams year in, year out that are definitely worthy of going to the tournament, but miss out due to the selection committee's new net rankings qualification criteria. When you look at the March Madness tournament, you do get the 4 buy-in spots or added spots before you get into the actual field of 64. So when we talk about March Madness, it's not a lost season if you don't make this tournament, because there are 3 other postseason tournaments like you spoke of. And with the College Basketball Invitational and the College Insider Tournament and the National Invitational Tournament, you have 3 opportunities on a postseason and on a national scene basis to make a statement for your program.
How big is motivation in them tournaments? Because they've shot for the stars, they've not reached them, but now they're going to go into another tournament. So I'm going to smell that there may be a few underdogs who make this their cup final, and we've got a few bigger guns who don't really fancy it.
I tend to agree with that ideology. I think that with a lot of these smaller conference schools, like for an example, a team from the Southland like Stephen F. Austin, if they don't make the NCAA tournament, they could do some serious damage in a tournament like the NIT or the CBI. When you look at these teams in these tournaments and what you're going to get from a performance, the more shocked a team is not to be included in the field of 68, the more likely they are to get the more likely they are to lose early and be a candidate to take an underdog against. I will say that you really have to base it on a game to game and a team to team basis, but it is a good starting point to think from.
Okay, and what about, so we've got obviously the CIT, the NIT and the CBI. Now, what is the geographical problems for some teams who may be playing a tournament where it's close to home, or one that can be you're absolutely nowhere near home?
Yeah, with some of these schools, you definitely have to take the travel into consideration. I will say that there are a couple of these tournaments that do give home court advantage up until about the semifinals of the tournament. I think that benefits any team that is motivated and has at least a 3-point home court environment, which there are a great deal of. I think that when you do get to the championship type of games within any of these tournaments, that's when you get the best performances from all teams involved, regardless of motivation.
So getting into these tournaments, do you have to have a winning record, or can you get in with a losing record?
Well, for most, you definitely need a winning record. I'll say this for the CIT, it's a tournament where you first off have to pay money to play. I believe it's a $50,000 entry fee, and also they give exceptions to teams that aren't from your typical Power 5 conferences and won their regular season conference, even though they may have not won their regular season tournament.
And would you say that between the CIT, the NIT, and the CBI, there's different strengths?
I would say that you expect certain teams to show up in the CBI. From the CBI, you can really expect some of the more off-brand schools in your less than Power 5 conferences. Your teams like UTEP, your teams like George Mason, your teams like University of Louisiana Monroe. Those are the type of schools that you're going to see in that tournament. And for a mid-major basketball bettor like myself, I salivate at those matchups because I've been following all those schools, And when they go up against each other, that's when my power ratings come into play the most.
Yeah, see, I love that because I'm thinking to myself that so many of these schools, they've enjoyed their season, but their main aim, their main target has always been either the CIT, the NIT or the CBI, because that's almost like their national championships because they never really had a chance on the NCAAB.
I agree there. I think that with coaching, you have to be realistic with what your personnel's limitations are and what they can do and what they can overachieve in. I think that when you set out a goal to make a postseason tournament, you have to remember there's over 200 teams that don't make it. So making one of these tournaments is by no means a letdown or a miss of goals. I will say this, when you're talking about a team from the Missouri Valley or the Northeast or the Summit League, making a tournament at all is always a pleasure for the program and for the fan base.
Okay, listen, Max, I absolutely appreciate everything that you throw into SBR. You've thrown some massive light on these tournaments, but now it's wet our whistle. We are really excited now to get Max's power rankings in and during the March Madness. So roll on. Look forward to it. You stay well, and we'll speak again soon.
Absolutely, Flash. Thanks very much for doing this.
Oh, absolutely. No problem at all, because it's everything that we want to know. And now I'm like wishing my life away just to get Max's power rankings. So you take care, and we'll speak again soon.
All right. Take care.
You've been watching I'm Flash, and this is sportsbookreview.com, and we're getting ready for March Madness. See you soon.
Hi guys, if you like what you saw, give us a thumbs up. If you don't want to miss a show, make sure to subscribe and more importantly, hit that bell button. You can also follow us on Twitter at SBR Sports Picks or head to sportsbookreview.com for all your betting needs. As always, thank you guys so much for tuning in.